You want to go ahead and take this off now, and then twisting the little nut that's right here at the base. Oh, well, that's not good. Welcome to another episode of Ask Dad. Now, I've had a few people talk to me about Teflon tape. And I even had a friend call me to say, hey, I put some Teflon tape on a sprinkler valve I was working on and it still leaks. And I asked him, well, how much did you put on? And he said, I put on one layer of Teflon tape and then I threaded it in and it's just barely dripping. So I thought I'd just do a quick video because there is kind of a proper way. I don't know if there's a real proper way, but sometimes with things, too much is not good. Teflon tape, too much. You don't want too much, but you want enough to make sure it doesn't leak. So let's jump over to our pipe thread and some Teflon tape. I just wanted to point out some important things about pipe thread and Teflon tape. But first, what my friend said he had done is taken some Teflon tape and only done one circle of it like this, and then when he threaded it in on a sprinkler valve, it still leaked. And so when he told me it was still leaking, I asked him how much Teflon he put on, how much Teflon tape, and he said he just did the one loop. And then he asked me, how many times do you do it? And I don't really know, but I probably go 5 or 6 times around it to thread it in. But I do want to go over a couple of things regarding how to thread or put on Teflon tape so that it tightens and fills in all of these little gaps on this pipe or this hose bib, plus on the pipe that this is going to thread into. And so something to consider is, if you've heard this growing up, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. The other way is if you twist it clockwise like this, that would tighten it, and if you do counterclockwise, that would loosen it. Now, putting Teflon tape on, there is a technique to it, because if I put the Teflon tape on the opposite way and I go to tighten it, it's just going to loosen off of that. And so if you have the pipe face you, the proper way would be to start wrapping the Teflon tape clockwise around the pipe facing you. So if you see, this is going clockwise around, and then I just sit there and I don't even count, but I'm probably going 5, 6, 7 times around. And then it breaks really easy, kind of make sure none's in there. And then I just use my fingers, and I'm actually pressing pretty hard. And so you can see all those little cracks. So now when we go to thread this in its fitting, to me, we have sufficient amount of Teflon tape. It'll fill those cracks in, and then the pipe fitting that this will thread into, that will help seal any gaps, so water should not drip out. Again, anytime you're threading in pipe to another pipe, you want to make sure you're using a wrench on the one fitting and then another type of wrench or pair of pliers on whatever other fitting you're threading this into. And so that is the proper way to install Teflon tape. And the reason we did the clockwise with the Teflon tape, so now when I go to thread this in clockwise, the Teflon tape is being tightened further. And if we were to do it the other way and we went the opposite way, the Teflon would start coming undone as you threaded it on. So again, point the pipe at you and then start the Teflon tape and go clockwise with the tape around the threads and do it, I'd say 6 to 10 times. I don't think you can kind of overdo it. And this is metal on metal. If this was plastic and a sprinkler fitting, sometimes you can have too much, but just that is how you put on Teflon tape on a pipe. Thanks for watching this episode of Ask Dad and how to use a Teflon tape. Hope everybody has a great day. And if you have any comments or questions, put them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them with the video. Thanks.